Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 2025 Prestige Global Meeting Sources Educational Webinar Series. My name is Sasha Andreev. I'm going to be your host as we explore today's topic, Entertain Through Experiences, presented by Apexx Global. Now, it's a new year, and we are so happy for you to join us for the first of the many webinars that we have in our lineup this year. In the last few months, if you've been with us, we've covered a variety of topics, everything from well-being to cruise ship contracting to networking. And if you've attended a previous webinar, we are so grateful that you've come back. And if this is your first one, welcome. You're in for a treat with today's presenter. Now, as many of you know, we at Prestige have a rich history of offering comprehensive support for event planners, everything from site selection to full event services. And we leverage our global network of hospitality resources to benefit our clients. Our commitment to you is integral to our success. And this education webinar series is part of that commitment. See, we understand you want to stay informed and be inspired, so we've reached out to a few of our industry friends to share their expertise and the various aspects that affect your professional and sometimes even your personal lives. And so let's meet one of those friends now. I would like to introduce today's presenter, Joe Daly, Managing Partner of Apexx Global. I'm going to bring Joe up to the screen. Ooh. And Joe, if you just unshare your screen with us for a second.
Sorry, guys.
Welcome, Joe. It's nice to have you here.
It's great to be here, Sasha. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm going to toot your horn just a little bit for everybody. Joe is a managing partner at the creative agency Apexx Global and is renowned for designing bespoke VIP packages for both intimate gatherings and large-scale events. Now, as an accomplished sports hospitality executive, Joe has been delivering world-class experiences at the intersection of sports, entertainment, and luxury service for over 20 years. And his many collaborations include premier sports organizations like the NHL, NFL, MLB, PGA, and F1, offering unparalleled access to exclusive experiences that most fans can only dream of. Joe's passion lies in enhancing the fan experience and fostering lasting relationships that extend well beyond the event itself. So I think it's fair to say that he's an expert in creating memorable impressions for his clients. Joe, did I get that right?
You hit it right on the head. I'm going to repeat myself, obviously, here, but yes, that is exactly what we do. Appreciate
Well,
it.
I'm glad to hear it. Now, you craft these VIP style experiences for clients large and small at some of the most popular sporting and even non-sporting events around the world. I think a lot of people don't understand how that you can even have access to experiences like this. Before you launch into your presentation, I'm curious, how did you get into this? This is an incredible way to make a living.
It's a great question. We got into this, myself and my business partner got into this about 15 years ago. I was in the high tech sector, package here, package there, and we both kind of thought, we're both sports lovers. My education came from the love of sports. All my jobs came through through my sporting contacts. So we kind of thought we'd open up a company where we can make these dreams come true for people and have these experiences available for everybody.
Awesome. Well, I'm really excited to have to see what you have to share with us. And before you start, I want to give a note to all our viewers. If you have questions during Joe's presentation, please use the Q&A function below to message us, and we will address as many as we can after Joe is finished. And this presentation will also be recorded and made available for viewing on the Prestige Global Meeting Source YouTube channel, so you can always reference it or share it later. So, Joe, I'm going to have you take it away, and then I'll see you afterwards for some Q&A.
Oh, perfect. Well, thank you very much, Sasha. Let me share my screen here. Thank you. Perfect. Thanks, guys. I appreciate everyone coming on, giving the time. Apexx Global is a corporate incentive company, is the way we like to call it, a niche marketing company, if you will. We take the corporates of the world to your major events, whether it be for client entertaining, client incentives, thank yous, pleases, depending on what the client wants. As far as the events are concerned, events like Super Bowls, Masters, World Cups, Olympics, Opens, all depending on what the audience is looking for as far as the client is concerned and what's in the current fad, if you will. As far as other things are concerned, no event is too small or too big. Sometimes it's a group of 20, sometimes it's a group of 4, but it doesn't matter. We're here for everybody. Our clients tend to be anywhere from as far as industries are concerned, high tech, finance, legal, anyone with a sales force, anyone looking to be competitive in their industries. Those are the kinds of people that are coming to us for those experience at these events to make themselves look competitive, look like they're caring about their clients, look like they're trying to close that piece of business. That's where we come in to help this lasting impression come through. On the slide, you'll see a selection of premium sporting events that happen kind of throughout North America. Some of them are international. I'll run through these quickly. It's not about the actual events. We have access to all of the events. All the events that I'm going to mention in this presentation are pretty much based on your audience. What does your client want to see? What do you want to see? Where are you geographically located? Who are you entertaining? Is it a spousal event? Is it male demographic? It is a female demographic. But all of these events here are pretty mainstream and cater to everybody. Formula One racing, now that it's American owned, is all over North America with Montreal, Vegas, Austin, and Miami on the circuit of this side of the world. It's a great higher end event. They have all kinds of different products that you can buy into as far as hospitality, everything from A to Z available. PGA golf tournaments, obviously uh, heavily located in this part of the world. Your Ryder Cups every couple of years, your President's Cup every couple of years. Those are all events that we have access to. We did the President's Cup this year. We have Bethpage coming up in 2026. We also 2025 September, sorry. We also did the Ryder Cup in Italy. So these are all events that, depending on your audience, it's all available to you. The Masters, another good one. Same place every year. Very easy to organize for us. Been down there for the last 23 years. So we deal with local people. We know exactly what's going on down there. Great event for a week-long event. This is one of the events where you can have your A-list guys come in on the weekend. You can have a B-list guys come in during the week. You can have your C-list guys come in at the beginning of the week. And this all helps with your budget, your yield per attendee, all kinds of things. Kentucky Derby, another great one. Something that's a great spousal event. You have all the prestige of the hats and the way you dress and on the infield, all very attainable. Calgary Stampede up here in Canada, growing in attendance every year. It's a hugely attended event. It's a great backdrop in the summer up in Alberta. You're in the mountains. They have all kinds of premium events and peripheral events that are around the rodeo that all of our clients attend to. And it's just a really good spot to be at that time of year. Major sporting associations. So we try to deal mostly 90 to 95% of the time with all the major entities. If a client were to come to us, approach us and say, Joe, we're going to be in San Francisco for a conference, 20 members of the management team want to go to a Giants game. We will try as hard as we can to deal directly with the Giants organization so that it's just the most economic and financial way to do it. So we're not getting overcharged by broker fees and stuff like that I'll get into later on in this. But we try to deal with the official entities as much as possible and keep the secondary market out of the way. Oops. Ins and outs of major events. When I say ins and outs of major events and I say the difference, I mean, let's take the Masters, for example, and then we'll use, say, a local team. Sometimes the difference between major events is it could take up to a year to plan for some of these things, simply because of the timing, the availability, the inventory, the time of year that it happens. So that is the difference between major events and, say, calling Apexx and saying, hey, I got to take 50 guys to the Giants game or the Jets game. That's a much different sell. It's a much different ask. So that is the difference there. The qualification is it's pretty simple. And it's all based on the audience. The last thing any company or any corporation wants to do is spend a good chunk of budget on an event to not have the proper audience in attendance. So if you're, well, take the Super Bowl, for example. Let's say the per person cost is 30,000 US. You want to have your 30,000 US clients at that event. You don't want to have to be subjecting the B or the C guys to come up. It's your ROI. Your ROI tends to go away that way. The educational component of a major event. These things are like timing, budget, properties, restaurants. These are all the educations, like things around it. The logistics. Some logistics are different at some events. Some of them are very simple. Sometimes we're at a hotel, we're walking across the street to the event. It's that simple. Sometimes it's an event like the Ryder Cup where we're at a hotel, but it's a 2 hour, 3 hour train ride to the event, plus a shuttle, plus an on-site event manager. So it all depends on what event it is, where it is geographically. And we have to educate our clients sometimes on that. The answer is yes. And the answer is always yes with Apexx. Can we get access to this event? Can we get access to that event? I have 20 people that want to go to Scotland and golf, the old course. Yes, yes, yes. The answer is always yes. The only hindrance to most events is timing, inventory, and availability. The access. Us at Apexx Global over the last 20 years have worked really hard in gaining our relationships with all the major entities. So that is what you're buying into with Apexx is our access, our experience with these entities. It takes that load off of the individual at our client's office, whether it be an event manager, a VP of sales, a C-level individual. All of these are aspects that individual may not know, and that is why Apexx is around. You're paying for our access, our service, our logistics, our experience at these events, and that's why we have our clients that are returning every year. Clients, who's doing it? I mentioned earlier in the conversation, most companies use us for client entertaining and client thank yous. Sometimes it's about solidifying a piece of business. Sometimes it's solidifying a relationship that's been there for 5 or 6 years, depending on what the situation is. Who's doing it? Larger corporations are doing it. Corporations with sales forces. The legal profession is very popular with us. They do it quite a bit. Manufacturing does it. Finance does it. High tech does it. The motivation. The motivation is pretty simple. You're differentiating yourself. There's a big difference between, sending a group of guys over to the local game, whether it's a Leaf game, a Kings game, or what have you. They always work. But at the end of the day, I've always said over the years, they truly don't need us for that. You can say thank you to someone by giving them the tickets to the game, and it's a very nice gesture, and it depends on who's playing and what have you. But at the end of the day, that is that motivation is to differentiate yourself from your competition, from the people, from the other people out there that are your counterparts. Hey, so and so sent us to the Super Bowl. Oh well, my company sent us to the game last week. They need you for the Super Bowl. They don't need you for the game. These successful people that are being invited by these entities to go to these events are highly successful. They don't really need us to get on a plane, go to an island, get a boat, but they do need us. If you went up to them and said, hey, I got 2 tickets to the Super Bowl. We're going to pick you up at this time. We're staying at this hotel. We're going to do the Rolling Stone party on the Friday. We'll do the ESPN party on the Thursday, and then we'll see you at the game on the Sunday. They need us for that. So that is where that is how we differentiate ourselves from each other. The competition factor, very popular, especially within industries. A manufacturing company sends its top 10 sales reps to the Masters every year. Well, this competition in the town over might want to do the same thing just to keep up with the Joneses, or send them to the Super Bowl, or we're going to take them to St. Andrews to golf, or Kentucky Derby is in May and we're not that busy in May. Maybe we'll do that. Those are all things that kind of come into play when we start courting our clients, and the questions that they ask. Why do major events always get at the forefront? Well, they're always at the forefront because they're a big budget item. They have to be thought about way in advance. We can't just go 2 weeks before the event going, hey, we're going to the Super Bowl. Can we do that? Yes, we can do that, but it's not the most economical way to do it. And not the most professional way to do it because of availability and inventory. But that's what we're here for. We're here to educate you on that process. The difference in major events. Every major event is different, which is why Apexx is around. It's not enough to say, hey, I'm a great sports fan. I'm going to be able to go out there and get all this stuff. It's every entity has its own process. Every entity has its own timing. Every entity has its own price points and reasons why and what you can't do and what you can do. And that is why Apexx is around. We understand those differences. We have those relationships at those events to educate our clients on those. Access varies in every location. It couldn't be more true. A 70,000 seat stadium is a 70,000 seat stadium. They don't make more seats. When they're sold out, they're sold out. That is why earlier on in the presentation, timing is always an issue. The earlier you get in, the earlier you'll be able to choose your access to whatever products they have available. Scale and scope. Each event can vary widely, and it's very, very true. You can get an event like the Super Bowl that is basically 7 days of events rammed into 3. It's that simple. It's a high ticket item, and it's all about where you're going to be seen and who you're going to be seen with. Masters, totally different ballgame. It's actually a week-long event. You can have a whole bunch of people come in, all kinds of cool peripheral activities, a great event to spend time with your clients at homes in the old country Southern charm. It's just, there are different events. There are different demographics. Your F1 client, probably not a Masters client. Those demographics are different. And I can't really put a finger on it, but that is why that access and those clients come back to us year after year, because we know those differences. Concierge services. It's a great way to get in the door with any client of ours. We offer concierge services to some of our clients, whereas it's simply, hey, I need to take 4 guys to the game tonight. Perfect. We are a resource for you. You simply call us. We'll give you 3 or 4 options. I'm traveling to San Francisco. I'm meeting so-and-so. I got to get into the ball game tonight. Done. That is something that we will do for our existing client base because it makes sense. It's a great way to stay in touch. Don't forget, a client that spends $650,000 on a Super Bowl program probably isn't going to do the Super Bowl again next year. So you got to find a way to stay in touch with these guys, and that's how we do it. We stay in touch with them with just offering them anything they need. Reverse method. Sporting events can be a great way just to heighten an event. We have a 400-person conference, but I need to bring 20 of the management team to the game in town tonight. Can we do it? That is something that always, it's just a peripheral activity sometimes, but once again, it's a touch point, and it's a great way to enhance the event. This last point is probably our most important point. Oops, sorry. We are selling the experience. It's like I said earlier, all these major events that go on around the world, it's all about the experience. We got the World Cup coming in 2026. We've done a few World Cups over the years. And it's truly about the experience. Even the way, this is part of the education, even the way FIFA sells their World Cup, you don't even know what division people are playing in, but they don't sell it that way. They sell the city, they sell the venue, and they sell a team. You're either going to follow your team, you're going to go to a city, and that's the way they sell it. So if you're going to go be in Atlanta, you're going to see these teams. You don't know who, but you don't care. Why? It's about the experience. You're gonna go to the stadium, you're gonna experience everything going on that FIFA puts on. There'll be all kinds of stuff around the city and activations going on outside the stadiums. And these are the things that people really want to buy into when it comes to those corporate entities. Quick calendar events. And this isn't everything, obviously. This is just everything happening in North America, basically. There's a couple that are missing here. If you look at May, Kentucky Derby isn't there. There's Kentucky Derby in May. We just start. BCS just finished. We got the Super Bowl in February, March Final Four, Masters in April, US Open and F1 in Montreal in June. August has the US Open tennis that lasts for a couple weeks. September's Ryder Cup this year, happening in Bethpage in New York. Great backdrop to do all kinds of stuff. October's always World Series, one US city somewhere. F1 Austin, amazing. November F1 Las Vegas. Another great backdrop to have all kinds of stuff. So just an idea of what you can throw into, whether it be quarterly, monthly, Great for the budgeting aspect of anything going on out there. Building an event around a major sporting event offers several benefits, and these are really straightforward. Enthusiastic crowds, there's all kinds of excitement in the building. So it's great for a team building event, networking event. It gets everyone happy. Not too many people are really down in the dumps when you're going to the Super Bowl or the Masters. Aligning your event with a popular game or tournament, which I just mentioned, you could be local. Let's say the Final Four, like this year's in San Antonio, and you're a San Antonio company. So it's a great backdrop to one, save on the travel. You don't have to get the hotel rooms, you don't have to get the flights. We're going to stay right in our backyard and we're going to entertain everyone over at the Final Four on the weekend. It happens very, very often, and all kinds of great ways of doing that. Communal atmosphere of sports also fosters networking and creates memorable experiences. And I touched base on this earlier. Sometimes it's not truly about the event, of the sporting event. Sometimes, like I said, it's a conference and you have all of your team there, and maybe it's 20 people. And at the end of the meeting, we're just going to throw a sporting event in there just to make it that much more memorable. Remember the meeting we had in Austin when we went to the Final Four on the Sunday night? That is something that no one will ever forget. They'll forget all their quarterly meetings and they'll have to really think about it, but they're always going to remember the one meeting or the one client that you bought out to that Final Four, that Masters, that St. Andrews trip, whatever it may be. And that is where Apexx excels. We're here to heighten your experience. We're not here to take your business or be in the way. We're here to work seamlessly beside you and make you look good at these events. It looks like you did it. We are invisible when we go to these events. You won't see my logo anywhere. I won't be wearing my shirt. I'll be wearing your shirt. We act on your behalf. This is done for you. I go to all these events. I get spoiled at it. I'm here to make sure you have the experience that you need at your event for your clients. And that's all I got, everybody.
Well, thank you very much for that presentation, Joe. If you want to unshare your screen
Oh,
so we can
yes.
see you
Sorry.
full screen. I have a couple questions for you that came in. We were wondering how far in advance can folks show interest in an event, and actually conversely, how last minute?
Great question. It's never too early, but most of these entities wouldn't have pricing for the year after until that season is complete. Having said that, it's never too early to say, "Hey, Joe, I want to take 40 people to Monaco in 2027 for F1." Perfect. We could definitely start that process. Pricing on some things wouldn't be finalized, but we could definitely book rooms, book logistics, book time. But as far as how close can we get? You can get as close as you like. But like everything else, inventory dwindles, supply dwindles, and when supply dwindles, costs go up. Right now, I shouldn't like not on everything. Sometimes, the access to the tickets might stay the same. Your hotel rooms will definitely go up because that's what happens at these major events as inventory dwindles. They're going to try to get as much as they can. We have no problem entertaining anything last minute. We've entertained World Series tickets the day before because a group of 16 wants to go to the game. Absolutely. It all depends on the event. It truly does.
And are there usually tickets that are reserved for people and entities like you for these events that typically aren't available to the general public?
Um, no, but some of these entities are nicer to some of us than they are to others. And that basically goes back to one is the experience, the years that we've been doing it, so that when Apexx calls, say the Ryder Cup committee, they know we're calling to buy. And so we're going to take on that inventory just as anyone else could. You know what I mean? So most people, that's part of the education process. Most people don't know that they can do that, right? So it all depends on what they're doing, or their timing is off. For example, I bought into the Ryder Cup 6 months ago. All those hospitality options are sold out
Hmm.
because so now a company can come to us because January just passed, budgets have just been released. Oh, I do have money for Ryder Cup this year. So now we're in play. Now we can go out and say, okay, this is what we're going to do. So it all depends on what the event is, how does inventory come about, and inventory and availability is different at every event.
Right. And you had mentioned that, obviously it's a lot of sporting events around the
Mhm.
world. But in chatting with you, that it doesn't just have to be sports. It's venue based, and your relationship
Venue
is
based.
more with the venue than the type of event.
That's correct. It's just concerts, another huge one. If I would be retiring if I had 100 Taylor Swift tickets in Toronto this summer, but wasn't the case. But concerts are a big one, and we have to remember some of these entities like NHLs and NBA and MLBs. A lot of the teams own their entities, own the buildings. Like for example, here in Toronto, Toronto Maple Leafs own the building downtown with the Raptors and all that kind of stuff. So you're dealing with the same people. Whether I'm buying Leaf tickets, Raptor tickets, or concert tickets, it's the same person.
Sure.
Right. So I'm dealing with the same entity. So yes, absolutely. Concerts are always in play. The stand-up comedians and the acts that are in the buildings are always in play. If there's a ticket attached to it, it's in play.
Excellent. And then do you also help people decide what type of event would be appropriate to host a group at? Let's say you already have a conference happening in a major city and you want to entertain a smaller
Yep.
group on one of those evenings, but maybe the client doesn't necessarily know what's happening. Are you the one to help curate what type of event would be ideal?
Absolutely. 100%. It would depend on the demographic of the group and what they're interested in. But all of my clients would call us for that exactly. I'm going to be in Boston the week of this to this. What's going on? Are the Bruins playing? Celtics playing? What's going on at TD North? Is there a festival going on? A wine festival up in Napa if you're in San Francisco? Yeah, all that kind of stuff for sure.
Oh,
Absolutely.
so even something like a wine festival would be
Absolutely.
in your inventory of things.
I had go back 15 years now. I had a client, a lawyer, call me from Tokyo, and he was looking for sumo wrestling tickets in Tokyo. And after a few phone calls, it's a first for me. I'm like, I got him sumo wrestling tickets. I have no idea what the seats were like. I had to sit on the floor, but he got in. And so it doesn't really matter where you are. It could be as simple as, oh my God, Joe got me 2 tickets to sumo wrestling. I'm going to call him for everything. But it all depends. But yes, it happens all the time. A subset of a larger group. We're in Atlanta. We want to go see the soccer game. Absolutely. Or depending on what, maybe there's a concert in town on the other side of town, but we do that a lot.
Okay. Out of curiosity, what would you say is your most memorable event that you've gotten a chance to facilitate and be part of?
Uh, Memorable?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have to be Rio World Cup in
Okay.
Brazil. Yeah, it was. FIFA does a very good job of their hospitality and setting up everything. It happens every 4 years, so they come into that country or whatever country they're in, and they take over. So Copacabana was all FIFA. All the sponsors were down on the beach, right in front of the Copa Hotel, and it was really well done. They did a really good job in Brazil, and their sports hospitality is second to none. I wouldn't do it
And of
any.
course, you didn't have fun at all. You were there to
No,
work.
no, no, no. Brazil's not a fun place. Stay off of Copa.
Well, I'm going to give our folks one more chance to ask a question. You can type it into the webinar chat or use the Q&A function at the bottom. But any final thoughts for us, Joe, in terms of folks thinking about their coming year?
Yeah, anyone that has, and you could just be kicking tires, guys. It's just about the education process and knowing that you can do it. Anyone that have any questions about any major events going on that you are thinking about or want to know how it's done, costing, reach out to Prestige, let your rep know, and they'll reach out to me and we'll have a conversation. There's no point in, it's an easy conversation to have. No questions are stupid. No questions are too small or too large, and neither is a group. Don't think that, oh, I can't call Joe and Apexx for 2 people to go to the Masters. Those smaller intimate groups at those major events is the way to go. That's the best way to do it. That's because that's what you're getting your ROI at it. You want to go to these major events, you want to spend time with your clients. That's the way to do it. Keep it nice and easy.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like you're the man to go to make the impossible possible. So,
Oh,
if folks want to get in touch with you, we encourage you to reach out to your Prestige account manager, and of course, Joe's always there to answer those
absolutely.
questions. Joe, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today.
Thank you guys. Appreciate everyone on the call. And Sasha, pleasure. Thank you.
It's a huge pleasure as well. All right. Well, like I said, if you want to get in touch with Joe, just reach out to him through your Prestige manager. Now, next month, we have a webinar on February 13th, Leveling Up Communication and Negotiation Skills with Improvisation, which will be presented by Matthew Moore of Improv for the People, which will be a really fun way to kind of up your skills in dealing with both negotiation and communication. And as someone who's taken improvisation classes, that is certainly something that comes in handy. Now, if you are ever thinking like this would be a great topic for me to present, or conversely, something you want to hear about, also reach out to your Prestige contact. We always are looking for feedback, for new ideas for our webinars, because we got 11 months left to fill them out. So I hope you'll reach out, let us know what you think. We love hearing from you. But till next time, my name is Sasha Andreev. Appreciate you tuning in today, and we will see you all in February. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. I'll see you real soon.